Today we're going to be talking about factoring quadratic trinomials. So we've been talking a lot about how we can move from factored form to standard form or standard form to factored form. So here is a expression that's currently in factored form, and to get into standard form we would do our distribution and get 2x squared minus 6x plus 1x minus 3 plus x minus 3. Combine these to get 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. This right here is standard form with a weird looking FT thing. Well, we want to go backwards. We want to take this and factor it. So I have it written down here. I'm going to factor this expression here. It's currently in standard form. I want to put it in factored form. Now I actually know how this should look. When I'm done, it's going to look like this. But the process of getting there is what we're going to spend our time on today, and probably the next couple lessons also. So factoring into these two binomials, binomial means our two terms, is a pretty major idea in mathematics that you're going to use a ton as you move forward. So we have to get this kind of figured out. There's a bunch of ways you can factor, so many ways. I'm going to show a method that's called factoring by grouping that at first feels very cumbersome with the amount of steps that it has. But once you do it a few times, you can start kind of whipping through the steps pretty quickly. What's nice about factoring by grouping is it has a process you can follow every single time that'll always work. A lot of other methods have you kind of guessing and checking and trying things and hoping they work, and if they don't, trying something else, and it's kind of open-ended. This is a process that we can just follow every time to help us factor. So the steps for factoring by grouping I've written off on the side over here. The first step is to multiply a and c. Well, we have to know what a is and b. So we know a is 2, b is negative 5, c is negative 3. My first step is to multiply a and c, which is 2 times negative 3, and I get out negative 6. That's step 1. Multiply a times c. Step 2 is to write out the factors of AC. That means write out the factors of negative 6. Well, the factors of negative 6 are negative 6 and 1, negative 3 and 2, negative 2 and 3, or negative 1 and 6. It means find everything that multiplies to negative 6. All the whole numbers that multiply to negative 6. So negative 6 and 1, negative 3 and 2, negative 2 and 3, negative 1 and 6. Step 3 is find the pair of factors that add up to b. So I want to find something that adds up to negative 5. Well, if I add up all of these pairs, one of them should come out to negative 5. It turns out it was the first one. I want positive 5, not negative 5. So this is the pair of factors that I want. Technically, it's actually this is the pair of factors that I want. So I'm going to use the numbers negative 6 and 1 for step 4. Step 4 says, and this is the weird one, okay, so stay with me here. Step 4 says split the b term into the two factors from step 3. That means these two factors here. I'm going to take this negative 5x, which is my b term, and turn it into negative 6x plus 1x. Negative 6x plus 1x. The 2x squared stays there, and the negative 3 stays there, but the b term got changed. Now you'll note, negative 6x plus 1x is the same as negative 5x, so I haven't actually changed the value of this expression at all. That's why I can still say they're equal to each other. Now, all we do that's left is to pull out some greatest common factors. So I cut the new expression in half. This is me doing step 5. Cut the new expression in half and factor a GCF out of both halves. So I look here and I ask, what do these have in common that I can pull out? 2x squared and negative 6x have a GCF of 2x. So I pull out a 2x and I'm left with x minus 3. Now, positive 1x, positive x, and negative 3 don't have anything in common. Whenever this happens, if they have nothing in common, pull out a 1. Although I want that x minus 3 to be white. I'm going to color code this. So this was me factoring by grouping. I'm going to finish the factoring by grouping now. The green stuff, this, combines into one factor. And these two white things were the same, x minus 3 and x minus 3. These two x minus 3 factors were the same already. That'll always be the case at this point. They combine into another factor. So here, I factored. It turns out that 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 can factor into 2x plus 1 times x minus 3. We already knew that, like we'd already done this problem. But that's the process you can follow to factor. Now again, it feels like it's a lot, but it turns out multiplying a and c, writing out the factors, and finding the pair that add to b is going to become a very simple and fast process. And then once you've done this stuff a few times, it'll also move fairly quickly. So it feels like there's a lot of steps, and I don't know, maybe there are, but it'll actually start going pretty quickly once we get a feel for it. Let's do another one. I'm going to keep copying the steps over here. You should write these down somewhere. You should have the steps written somewhere that you can refer to. And you should try to get to the point where you don't need to refer to the steps anymore. But we'll talk about how to make that happen later on. Okay, step 1, multiply a and c. Well, that's 3 times 4 to get 12. Step 2, write out all the factors of AC. 12 and 1, 6 and 2, 4 and 3, and also the negatives. I have to worry about the fact that, negative 4 times negative 3 is also positive 12. So I have to worry about the negative and the positive factors. Okay, step 3. Find the pair of factors that add to b. I want to find the things that add up to negative 7. Well, that's 13, and that's 8, and that's positive 7. Positive 7 is close, but not quite. That's negative 13, that's negative 8. This one is negative 7. So my pair of factors is negative 4 and negative 3. Now here's the weird part, right? The 3x squared doesn't change, but the negative 7x is going to become a negative 4x minus a 3x. And just to make this a little bit simpler, I'm actually going to flip the order I write those in. You can write those in whatever order you want. I'm going to do the negative 3x first, and then the negative 4x after it. And the plus 4 is still here. The reason I flipped those was to make this factoring obvious and to make this factoring obvious. You'll see in a second what I mean by that. Okay, I'm going to slash this in the middle, cut it in half, and factor the GCF out of both halves. This is me doing step 5. Well, on the left half, I can pull out a 3x, leaving me with x minus 1. On the right half, I can pull out a negative 4, leaving me with x minus 1. Remember how if the leading coefficient is negative, you pull out a negative, so I'm pulling out a negative 4. So this factors, where my pink stuff joins together, 3x minus 4, and my white stuff joins together, x minus 1, and I have factored. It factors into 3x minus 4 times x minus 1. That one went a lot faster. Got 2 more. These ones are often where people start learning how to factor, is with a values that are 1. Right now the a value is 1, the b value is 8, the c value is negative 20. It turns out if your a value is 1, the process doesn't change at all. If I multiply a and c, a times c is just negative 20. If I write out the factors of AC, it's negative 20 and 1, negative 10 and 2, negative 5 and 4, negative 4 and 5, negative 2 and 10, negative 1 and 20. In our next lesson, I'll talk about how to do these factors in a systematic, clear fashion to make sure you don't miss any. But for now, I'll let you kind of just play with that on your own. I want to find the pair of factors that add up to positive 8. That's this pair right here. Negative 2 plus 10 is positive 8. So I'm going to split this up into x squared minus 2x plus 10x minus 20. Slash it in half, factor the two sides. Out of this part here, all I can pull out is an x, leaving me with x minus 2. Out of this part here, I can pull out a 10, so I put plus 10, leaving me also with x minus 2. Combine by colors, and I get x plus 10 times x minus 2. Boom, we factored. Last one. A is 1, B is negative 1, C is negative 6. So A times C is going to be negative 6. And the factors of negative 6, I think we've already done these ones. The pair that adds up to negative 1, it's got to be negative 1, not positive 1, is this pair here. So I'm going to have x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 6. Cut it in half, pull an x out of the left half, pull a 2 out of the right half. So it's x plus 2 times x minus 3. Sick. Remember, we can check. I've been just writing check because I've been doing the check in my head really fast, and that's silly of me. We can actually do the check by redistributing. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Put all that together, and you get x squared minus x minus 6, which is what we started with. So there's our check, and there's our factored form. All right, we're going to do a ton of these just to get lots of practice and lots of familiarity. Maybe eventually I'll show you some other methods, but I also might not. It can be nice to just sort of have one method to not confuse with any others and just kind of roll with. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching. See you next time.